During the trial of John Edwards, his daughter Kate was a constant presence in the courtroom. At one point, she ran out in tears during testimony about a confrontation between her cancer-stricken mother and her father.
But she's not the only famous daughter to stand by her dad. And here with a look at other children and their scandalous parents are Doug Wead, author of All the President's Children, and CBS This Morning contributor Lee Woodruff. Great to have both of you with us. Good morning.
Great to be here.
Thank you.
So, Doug, I want to ask you, because you've been looking at this for so many years through so many generations of power and struggle. Is this a common thing with Kate standing by her father?
Yes, it's a reoccurring, almost like an act of nature. There's loyalty, and then there's something beyond loyalty, and that's love. And in the Edwards case, we saw loyalty to the extreme. I mean, one of the aides accepted the paternity of the child. That's as far as it gets in loyalty. But when loyalty passes and it's become state's evidence, then all that's left is love. So here's Kate, and this is a moment, great, precious moment for her, bittersweet moment, because she's needed, maybe for the first time in her life. He needs her, and she has to sense that.
And we shouldn't be shocked by that, Lee.
No, you look at history and parents who have abused their children in all different ways. That bond is so strong. Blood really is thicker than almost anything, and it's your parent. And that is a connection that's hard to explain. I think you have to do something egregious, probably, for that to happen. And even in the short term, I know children who don't speak to their parents because of some transgression, they always seem to come around.
What other parallels stand out to you?
Well, Chelsea Clinton, that great moment where she's walking across the lawn with her mom and dad, and their backs are to the camera, and she reaches out and grabs his hand, her hand. That's something that all the president's men and women could not do. That was a kind of a message to the country: hey, we're a family, leave us alone. And that's another example of a young lady standing up for her father and her mother and
of course,
privacy.
Nixon's daughters stood up for him throughout the Watergate scandal. What I wonder is, though, the Bernard Madoff scandal. There's a different story there, and it's with his sons, and they did not stand by their father. And I wonder, from both of you, and Lee, maybe you first, why is that? Is it because they were boys, or is there something else there?
It's because men just aren't as loyal.
Well, men are like dogs, right? Bad dogs.
Kidding, of course. It is
and
a
not
different
boys.
case, though. Yes.
They were adults at the time
They
that all
were
this
adults,
happened,
and I know Doug and I were talking about this a little bit earlier. There is a gender difference, which he can speak to better than I. But I also think, when I look at that case, there's a mother-son thing happening there. So the mother was completely lied to, and there was a duplicitous life. But also, to me, those boys' lives, careers, and reputations were completely tied up in what he did in a lifetime of deceit. And that's egregious. When you talk about egregious?
That's very good. That's very good. And psychologists would say that a man is task-oriented, and a woman is also has a social dimension to her that a man can't rival. So with the Edwards case, the Nixon case, the dream is dead. And Madoff, the boy takes his life. But for the young lady, the dream is dead, but the person is still here. And the most dramatic example of that in history, if you look at Chelsea Clinton and the impeachment of Clinton, you go back to the last impeachment, and there was a son and a daughter working in the White House. The son took his life. That's under Andrew Johnson, his son Robert. The daughter, Martha, marched to Capitol Hill and said, "We need money to run the White House. I don't care whether you like my dad or not." And with the Nixon girls, Julie was spit on at campus when she walked across campus. But the chief Watergate prosecutor said there's got to be something good about Richard Nixon because of his daughters.
I like the way you dance around the gender differences there.
No, let's go there. That's just flat out. Women are the nurturers, caregivers. Women stick by their men, and men jump ship.
You see it all through history, unfortunately. It's
Wow.
Yeah.
On that note,
Right.
it's a pleasure.
Does anybody want to redeem themselves here?
I'm going to work on it the rest of the weekend.
No, you're the exception.
I'm going to be cleaning all weekend long. Thank you, guys.
Doug Wead, Lee Woodruff, thanks so much.